Welcome to Elite Dangerous. Today we'll be doing a little bit of easy work. I'm running a few delivery missions for the faction that I'm backing, Mother Gaia. Over the course of a few weeks, about a month actually, I've been able to build up this faction's influence in the home system up to about 60%. They started around 35, matching with the other faction, the Federal Congress, at about the same. They were in a civil war not too long ago. I don't think it was just me, of course, that actually influenced this percentage rate, but I haven't contacted any other players or posted anywhere inquiring if anybody else is doing some missions for them. But I have, and I've been focusing pretty much solely on Mother Gaia. And thus far, I've got them up to about 60%. I believe I had them at 60 recently. They dropped down briefly to 58, and I believe that's where they're sitting now. But we're going to go ahead and start out in a high-tech area, and we're going to pick up a few resources for the missions that we've got. Normally I use voice attack, which allows me just less keys to press for certain easy things, but it just makes it a little nicer. So you might hear me say some weird things at the computer upon occasion. I turned off voice attack for the recording, but I may say them anyways. That being the case, don't worry about it if I yell at the computer to, landing gear or nav or chaff if I'm in battle, because most of those are, my voice attack commands, and I've turned them off for the record. In the meantime, let's have a look and see what I'm supposed to pick up from the commodities market. I know I need a bunch of non-lethal weapons. Let's see how many we've got here in our transactions tab. I need 6. It's weird, but I do this one at a time just to make sure I get the right amount. Alright, and these guys want 5. And these guys want 5. Alright, now I'm supposed to pick up some microbial furnaces, 10 of them. I think high tech is the one that produces them, but I'm not entirely sure. Microbial furnaces, let's see. It might be industrial that does that. Microbial, oh, there we go. Oh, there they are. And I needed 10. Alright. Very good. That's food. Clothing I already picked up earlier. Animal meats, food. Indite I picked up earlier. And computer components I picked up earlier. So I just have a few food left over. Now, that being the case, everybody in the Sol system, which is where I do most of my trading and activities, loves the progenitor cells. And this particular station, Magnus Gateway, they always have a bunch, and they usually have a really good price. I usually make about 700 credits in profit per. Sometimes, depending, I can make up to 1,000. So I believe that's everybody. Now, let's find out what sort of route we want to take. Because we have 2 separate drop-off points that have silver. And we have 1 or 2 drop-off points that love silver. Daedalus, they make silver, but their prices are average. So profits usually in the 700 credit range, which isn't bad. I have 2 drop-offs in Daedalus, 1 in Galileo. Theirs is usually about the same, but occasionally the price drops pretty significantly. Another in Galileo, and Gorbachev, that's food, Indite in Gorbachev, and that one's in Galileo. So I don't have any drop-offs at the Abraham Lincoln, which is the primary space station that I do business at, because they're a service station. So they provide absolutely nothing that you can sell, They have no economy, but they buy a lot of stuff, and namely silver. If you can find a good price on silver, sometimes gold or palladium or platinum, you can get a really good return on your profit. Now, the nearest space station that produces any one of those is actually less than 1.5 light seconds away, even at apogee, which is the furthest apart that they're ever going to be uh, for the trade. So that's between the station Galileo, which is at the moon, and the Abraham Lincoln, which is based around the Earth. So they're really close. So if you wanted to, set up a trade route between the two, you can rack up some pretty hefty profits depending on the amount of silver you can cart between the two. As it stands, we've got everything we need here, so let's head home. And by home, I mean Sol. Now, the Sol system is, of course, where we are. That's here. That's home. Everyone you've ever known, everyone you've ever loved, every hopeful child, every creator and destroyer of civilization, they came from there. Earth. Thankfully, they've been very faithful in their modeling of the Sol system. All the planets and pretty much every single moon that we've ever documented and mapped out in high definition. They've used the skins for the high definition mapping, and they have all the planets accurately depicted, which is great. I would say the rotational equivalent of Earth is a little off. I play pretty much the same time every day, and sometimes North America is lit by the sun, and sometimes it is South America and Africa and Europe. It's pretty inconsistent which way the Earth is actually pointing. The rotational axis seems a little off to me, but that's a minor nitpick. It still looks beautiful. Well, now we're going to be doing a quick frame shift drive and landing at the Sol system. We'll head right to the Daedalus outpost because they're the closest, usually about 100 light seconds away from the sun. And then we will head directly to Gorbachev. Actually, you know what? We're going to go to Galileo first because we can drop off everything at Galileo, but a few things. Pick up silver, go to Gorbachev, and then drop off our mission and some extra silver for a little bit of hefty profit on the side. Alright, let's roll. As you might notice on the bottom of the screen in the middle, that's my radar. And to the right of that is my thrust. I move it up and down here. See it turn blue as I get into the center of the area. The game actually automatically mitigates your speed and allows you to slow down without any effort so that you can exit supercruise, which is what we're doing now. If you notice, I'm doing 8, 7, 6 times the speed of light, which is C for just standard moving around a system. That's different than the system-to-system jumps by quite a bit. This is affected by planet's gravity, system gravity, a whole bunch of factors, but generally you can move pretty quickly between stars, or pardon me, well, between stars in a system and planets in a system. And to get close to an object, such as one of the stations or mining areas, or resource extraction sites as they call them here, RESs, you have to exit the supercruise. You notice how my speed is being rather severely impacted by Mercury. Thank you, Mercury. Appreciate that. There we go. You have to be within 100, I think it's million meters, but it might be megameters, whatever the determination is going to be. Usually it's for light years and light seconds until you get under 10 light seconds. Then it switches to the megameters or a million meters. Once you're within 1 million meters and your speed is under 1 million megameter a second, you can exit safely and the game will just drop you into the area that you've exited to. In this case, the data station. Should be pretty close to the entrance considering, yep. Sometimes, depending on your approach, you'll actually show up directly in front of the entrance, which is pretty handy. But other times you will not. Now, the faction in charge of the data station is actually the Federal Congress. Through my early game, I did some missions for them, and I actually ended out one of their allies, even though they are not the faction that I'm currently backing. They are in direct opposition to Mother Gaia. They had a civil war quite some time ago. So, thankfully, I enjoy a few bonuses from this, namely priority docking. Their station turns green for me, as do all of their allied ships, so they'll help me if I get into a scrape. And they'll actually jump to me, they and Mother Gaia. Which is why I decided to keep both of them in my allied rank rather than turn on one of them completely. Alright, so let's go and get rid of the non-lethal weapons these guys want. So here's the result of turning in this mission. You see the little up arrows and down arrows, which are blue. Red, of course, would be bad, so bust is down, boom is up. This is with Federation and Gaia. You get bonuses for both. Influence is only for the main faction, from what I understand from my research there. So Mother Gaia, it says 1%, but that is greatly exaggerated, at least compared to what I see for the end result. And of course your reputation going up. I'm already allied, so I'm more allied, I guess. I don't know what comes after that. So let's turn in some more and make a little hefty profit on the side. And it says lockdown is bad, but I don't know exactly the effect of this, but I think in like anarchy systems or things like that, it'll actually decrease the anarchy and increase the control of the affiliation that it's going to. But again, as a generally single player, I mean, I'm in the multiplayer right now, but I can't really say one way or the other whether that's actually true or just my imagination running away with me. So we've got some room here, and the progenitor cells, these guys only have a medium. Usually it's high. That's a 200 credit difference between standard, what I usually sell them for, and that's per unit. So at 11, that's quite a bit. We'll have a look here. What is silver going for? That's standard price. So I can't really bring anything into the system that's going to sell any better. So we're going to go ahead and just leave it at that. And we're going to head directly to Galileo, the moon. Since I have, what do we got? 1, 2... three of them that need to be dropped off at the moon, and that'll free up room for silver, which may or may not be a better price. We will see. To the moon! As you noticed, I did docking right there, which is actually a big part of the game. You're going to see me do it again once we get to Galileo. And you're going to see it again once we go from Galileo to the Gorbachev station, because that's where the rest of my missions are. And we get to do this pretty much every time. And yes, there's plenty of traffic. Thankfully, here in the Federation space, traffic seems to be relatively minor, to be honest. And most of it is moving at a very respectable clip. They move very slowly when they're moving into their docking positions, and when they're moving through the docking chamber, that blue field you saw, I guess. Now, this can be a bit of an issue for time, since, the game's all about time. All of this takes time. And the reward is what you make of it, for what you wanted to do with the game. And sometimes these guys get in your way. especially the larger ships that take up pretty much the entire docking chamber when they're entering. You can't get past them. And so you pretty much just have to slow down and wait for them to go through. And hope that they don't have a glitch, which causes them to just run into the wall repeatedly and then get blown up by the space station's defense system. Well, the timer, as you noticed, I had limited time to land, 10 minutes, runs out. Probably not going to take that long, but it's still time that I could be spent flying elsewhere and doing other things. Usually that doesn't happen, though, especially in Federation space. I've noticed a bit more traffic when I go into the public game rather than the solo game. I've almost run into a few people, and once at that particular station we were just at, Daedalus, I was smuggling in some goods. And since I knew the trajectory to come in directly in front of the entrance, I did so, and I boosted my thrusters to maximum speed and tried to line myself up at the entrance, and I did pretty good. Unfortunately, there was a big ship that decided to exit at the same time, and we met with disastrous consequences. For me, at least. I have no idea if that ship exploded. I just know that I did. A horrible, fiery ball of death. Now, that particular incident cost me about 200,000 credits. I can make that back pretty quick, but it's still quite the setback, considering the prices of a lot of the things here. But as I said, you kind of make your own stories in this game. And your own lag, apparently. One of the things I noticed is that it's difficult to tell which side of a stellar body or celestial body that a space station is on, either the far side or the near side. You know, you tell once you can target and say, okay, he's on the far side because he's further away. So we're going to... Well, maybe he wasn't. Maybe I was insane. Usually it's a good idea to loop around so that the gravity doesn't slow you down so much that it just takes more time to go next to the planet. And of course the blue rings around a planet seem to represent the gravity well. I have no direct knowledge or research on this, but it seems to be the case. The closer you are within those gravity rings, the slower your ship goes. So I would assume that that's true, especially since they are concentric circles that get closer together as they near the planet. And as you see here, I did not approach this the optimal way, which is not a big deal since I have all power to engines and I'm pretty fast. Now, one of the things you always want to remember to do is get permission to dock. Because if you don't, they will blast you into oblivion. Funny thing is, I was going to one of the smaller space stations, which, has landing pads on the outside, unbeknownst to me, and a little docking chamber that looks just like this one, without the extra decorations on the outside, you might say. And so, hey, in the way, pick a spot, pick a direction. Thank you. And I tried to enter the docking station. This was back my first ship or second ship, which is the beginner ship that was free, and they didn't like that at all. As a matter of fact, I crashed into the station because you can't get through it apparently, and got blown up. Not good. Learning experience though. Alright, let's turn in almost all of the rest of these computer components. Non-lethal weapons. The microbial furnaces. I get that, all that extra influence. These guys, I'm sure, want agro-medicines. We'll take it. And what do these guys want? Me to drop something off? Where? They just want me to bring scrap? Yeah, we'll turn that down for now. What about this one? Bauxite? No thanks. Well, the only missions we got besides a little bit of pirate missions, 4 hours in Lumen 16. Now, we'll go ahead and accept that. We'll make the next video some pirate hunting. Alright, so that's all here. We'll go ahead and pick up some silver and see what they want for the progeny to see. Here we go. There's an extra 400 credits, 884 per. Well worth the holding on to, but silver's the same price. However, it's still the best commodity to transport between here and Gorbachev. And I only have 2 things in my cargo. Well, Gorbachev wanted more to that, didn't they? Got indite. I thought I picked up indite. Apparently not. Okay. And food. I've got clothing for them, that's it. And there's food, the agri-medicines, and some pirates. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to be doing some trading off-screen for a little bit, since apparently I didn't pick up the indite, which I really thought I did. Okay. I believe that's extraction, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm going to find a planet that sells it and go pick some up, bring that back here, and we'll go ahead and quickly head over to Gorbachev and drop off the clothing and the silver. Since they're only 1.26 light seconds away, it's a pretty easy hop. Alright, so you've seen a few landings, you've seen a little bit of the economy system, and as I was talking about for the influence, I'll leave the station before they blow me up. Because yes, they will if I don't leave fast enough. 5 minutes seems like a long time, but I'd rather not take the chance. And yeah, that's a tight fit. Imagine doing that in one of the huge ships, which they do have. There we go. And we're lined up. Perfect. Now let's have a look at the influence that I was talking about. So I'm friendly with the Federation. Haven't gotten to Allied yet because you need to do a lot for that. But I am a lieutenant, which is cool. I can get their ships if I want. Federal Congress, Allied, as I said. Friendly with the rest of the guys here, and allied with Mother Gaia. And then we'll check our system status. And they're still at 58, even after, well, quite a bit of things that I've done today alone. And they have not gone up. They've actually went down from 60. So there's only so much one man can do. Alright, we'll go ahead and end the video here. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And the next time we'll be going and hunting pirates in the Lumen 16 system, which is just next door to Sol, about 6 light years if I'm not mistaken. I look forward to seeing you there and back at my channel. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.